It is a decision that was expected, but once considered unthinkable. The U.S. Supreme Court ending constitutional protections for abortion that were in place for 50 years. And now abortion bans are expected in roughly half the states. Joining me is Chuck Todd, the moderator of NBC's Meet the Press. Chuck, when you look at the breakdown of 6-3 of today's abortion ruling, is it now the defining legacy of the 2016 election? And is it also the legacy of former President Trump?
Oh, it's 100% the legacy of Donald Trump, and absolutely. I mean, you now look at this 2016 election and the fallout from it. You know, it really is. I would say it's the most consequential election now since 1876, a disputed election that essentially ended Reconstruction in the South. I mean, you know, some might argue, well, hey, you're missing 1932, and it's like we can have that debate. You can have a debate about on that, but what we do know, it's one of the 2 or 3 most consequential presidential elections in the entire history of this country. When you think about, I mean, just look at the back-to-back decisions, overturning a 100-plus-year-old law in New York on guns, overturning a 50-year-old law on abortion. These are these cultural and political issues that are that sort of, look, we've always been, I mean, a country that's been knitted together. It's sort of, we're everything about the country has always been, we've lived in a compromise. We lived sort of, and Roe was in some ways the perfect metaphor for sort of the uncomfortable stability that sometimes we have to bring to our politics in order to live next door to each other and thrive and all of those things. And it's gone. And I think the law of unintended consequences here means, you know, there are now more questions than answers after this ruling. Yeah. And so I think this is, the fallout from this is going to be years, not months, that's for sure.
How about going forward now? The Supreme Court's reputation, as it relates to things like public opinion and favorability ratings, how big of a shift, a seismic shift, do you think this is going to be?
Well, I think it's just, it's going to turn. The Supreme Court already looked like it was getting politicized, right? The judiciary had been politicized. You know, last 10 years, we have a whole bunch of federal judges since 2013 that have been confirmed with just 50 votes. If you need 60, you're going to have to get a softer version of a federal judge ideologically than if you only need a bare majority to get it done. And so we have more ideologues on the federal bench moving up, and then you had Donald Trump, who essentially, for the first time, confirmed a whole bunch of justices with less than 60 votes, 3 of them. In fact, I think it's now, I mean, we're looking at 4 of the 9 justices were confirmed with less than 60 votes that are going to be in there going forward. In this case, it was 3 of the 9, and it was the 3 that Donald Trump got. And that, I think that it's sort of how they ended up with this conservative majority. It didn't feel like it was small d Democratic, right? You had one vacancy, should have been filled by Barack Obama, but it was orchestrated. The Republican-controlled Senate stopped it. The vacancy of Ruth Bader Ginsburg was really close to the presidential election, and if they had stayed consistent with what they had said with Scalia, that one shouldn't have been filled, but it was. So I think because of the way this conservative supermajority was created, it only adds to the idea that it's not a legitimate. It's not a legitimately balanced court here. And I just think more people are going to view all of those robes as not just red and blue. You know, no longer do they wear black robes, but it's pretty bright red right now, that's for sure.
More on this topic coming up Sunday morning on Meet the Press, which airs on 11 Alive at 10 a.m. Chuck, thanks.
Thank you, Jeff.